The last time I visited a friend, we were just looking into the word, and then the subject of fasting came in, and a whole lot of things boil around it. And it was very funny and it was very interesting because it has created the stage for me to open a few things to them so we can all come to the knowledge of the truth. And I think that day has been a very blissful day. So today I want to share with you concerning fasting. What is fasting? What is fasting? What we've been taught in religion, fasting simply means staying away from food. What that means is that you don't have to take in anything. You need to starve yourself. You need to starve yourself. Maybe then you go to some religious prayer, shouting, or you kept quiet, and you understand what I'm talking about. That is what is called fasting. But what is truly fasting? What do we call fasting? Is fasting starvation? Is fasting staying away from food? And if it is staying away from food, if it is starving yourself, what really is the food? What really is the food? What really is the food? Let me state emphatically that food here is anything you enjoy doing. Anything that will not profit the spirit man that you enjoy doing is food. Anything outside the word of God, anything outside God that will be of no benefit to you or to your spiritual life is food for the flesh. Is food for the flesh. Let's say you enjoy watching football. That is of no benefit to your spirit. That won't build your spirit. That won't build your spiritual life. All those things are things that will satisfy the flesh. You enjoy doing it, so it is something that is satisfying you. So it is food. Okay, so now we have established what food is. When it comes to fasting, fasting simply means getting yourself disconnected from everything that actually satisfies you. Anything that takes away your attention, that is not the word of God, that will not cause your spiritual growth, is food. So when it comes to fasting, fasting does not mean that starving yourself. Fasting does not mean that do not eat, do not put food inside your mouth and swallow. What fasting means is that get yourself disconnected from all the things that you enjoy doing, all the things that takes over your mind, all the activities that takes over your mind, that takes over your time, that takes over your emotions. Get yourself disconnected from them. Anything that will cause distraction to you, those things are the food. Those things are the food. They would actually carry your consciousness away from the word of God. So when it comes to fasting, one of the things that can distract you during fasting is hunger. If you have not heard this before, I'm telling you today, hunger can serve as a source of distraction to you during fasting. What is fasting? Fasting simply means getting yourself disconnected from all the things that I've just mentioned and get yourself connected to the word. Study the word, meditate on the word, pray. Study the word, meditate on the word, pray. Study the word, meditate on the word, pray. Let nothing outside the word of God occupy your mind. It is very, very important you eat, you get your stomach satisfied before you go into fasting. Let's say you are going to fast from 6 to 6. You have to eat before you start the fasting. Why? If you go into fasting, if you go into studying the word, meditating on the word, praying from 6 to 6, if you have not eaten at a point in your fasting, hunger will start knocking on your door. And instead of you to stay on the word, get your mind occupied with the word, being swallowed by the word, now hunger will start drawing your mind to your stomach. So small time you begin to look at time. Oh, it's not yet 6 o'clock. You start 6 a.m. and you said you'll be stopping at 6 p.m. But you've started on empty stomach. So now you begin to sense hunger. Instead of you putting yourself into the word, instead of you allowing yourself to be swallowed by the, instead of you allowing your consciousness to be carried away by the word, instead of you to dine with the spirit, now hunger will serve as a source of distraction. Even though you get yourself disconnected from everything, you lock the door, you shut the door on your kids, you get yourself disconnected from everything. Your mind has been shut on everything because you have refused to eat, thinking that is what fasting is. Now your stomach begin to take over your mind now. Hunger begin to strike you. Instead of you to focus on the word, instead of you to steady, continue with your prayer, continue with your joyful fellowship with the Spirit, with the word, pray and meditate. Now your stomach is making you become time observer. Small time, you look at time. Oh, it's still not 6 o'clock. Oh, it's still not 6 o'clock. It's better you stop that fasting that you are doing, because that thing that you are doing, there's something has taken over your mind. So you are no longer fasting. What has taken over your mind? Hunger has taken over your mind, because you have been subjected to that deception that fasting, it simply means that stay away from food. Don't get food into your stomach. Because of that deception that you have adhered to, now you are not available. You have been carried away, even though you lock yourself somewhere, or you are at somewhere saying you are fasting. Something has taken over you, so you are no longer fasting. You are being lifted out of the word. So there's no fasting going on anymore, because distraction has set in. Food has set in. In fact, the hunger is the food that is distracting you. The hunger is the food that is distracting you, because the food you put in is not actually a distraction. That is actually to prevent the distraction from coming. So hunger has become the distraction that is taking you out of studying the word, meditating on the word, fellowshipping with the word. For you to fast and fast properly, eat before you go into fasting. Eat before you go into fasting. Hunger is food that will distract you during fasting. Understand that anything that will distract you, will take over your attention during fasting, during your time with the word, during your studying of the word, meditating on the word and praying. During that time, anything that will take over your mind is food. So food does not mean something that you swallow to get satisfied. No. So if you want to fast and fast properly and benefit from it, my brother, my sister, eat and get satisfied before you go into it. Ask yourself, why do you see? That's one thing I like about the Muslims. When they are doing that, their 30 days fasting, they wake up at dawn and eat. By 6 o'clock, they cook all the delicious meal and eat before they start the fasting. Why? Because they don't want hunger to come and distract them. Hunger is actually the food that will distract you. Hunger is actually the food that will take you out of the time that you need to allow yourself to be occupied with the word. That time you need to enjoy your fellowship with the Spirit. Hunger will now become the food that will take you out of that state. So my brother, my sister, for you to benefit from what is called fasting, if you want to do fasting and do fasting properly, please get food and eat. Get yourself satisfied before you go into fasting. Do not let anybody tells you that you don't have to eat before you fast. No. As a matter of fact, you not eating before starting fasting, you are rather going to meet distraction on the way, and that distraction is hunger. And that distraction is actually the food that you are to abstain from, that you are to separate yourself from. I pray that the good Lord will help you to understand what I'm trying to explain to you. Anything that will distract you during your time with the word is food. Anything that will distract you is food. Food is a metaphor. So anything that will distract you, anything that you enjoy doing, you have to cut them all away. You have to get yourself disconnected from all of them, whilst you put your focus, your attention on the word of God. I pray the good Lord will open the eyes of your understanding to be able to comprehend these things. I am your brother evangelist Albright. I'll come here with another session of the gospel in a few minutes. Stay blessed. Shalom.